Hello everyone and welcome to the finale of Pokemon Crystal. It's been a long road, but now it's time to end this all off. Very quickly before I go into the final dungeon, I'm showing off everyone's attacks and stats, considering they're kind of important for the final battle, which is actually the hardest battle in the series, should you not know what you're doing. Now, as you can also see, I clearly leveled everyone up to level 70, which took me about 2 hours with the fast forward key, even though in-game it was around 40 hours, I think. You don't have to do that. I've seen people take the final boss on at level 55, but I like to be safe, even considering, technically speaking, the highest level you should probably be at is level 80 for the final boss, considering, his highest level Pokemon is level 81, but, I'm just being caught. I'm just being my normal self. Anyway, the first area of Mount Silver is completely black, but I have the map memorized from Silver at this point, considering I played Silver a lot when I first got it. To the point where I could really memorize this. Plus, I think if you pause and go into one of the items, the screen lights up momentarily, so you can actually have like a little view of what's around you. You can use the Pokeballs as markers, which I tend to do when I play this, but during this playthrough I just really didn't even care. And route into the outside of Mount Silver this is supposed to be. It's not represented well at all in this game, but in the Heart Gold and Soul Silver it's much better represented. In fact, it's even snowing, and I think on every year the day that that Gold and Silver came out every year, if you go on to there, it's raining diamond dust. Who is this guy and why does he look so familiar? Why is the champion battle music playing? Why is me from Red, Blue, and Yellow facing me? This is Red, the final boss in the game, and the trainer that you played as in Red, Blue, and Yellow, or in terms of the timeline, the champion of Kanto from 3 years ago. Starting off, he has the highest level Pokemon in the game, his level 81 Pikachu, level 88 in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, the highest level trainer Pokemon in the series. Use a ground-type Pokemon against it, it won't be able to do much against you. Next out he's sending out, for me at least, is Venusaur, I believe. Yep, his Venusaur. Use a Fire-type Pokemon against it, shouldn't be too much of a problem. And since during the level grinding, Blaze learned, he learned Flamethrower, this is going to be going down in one hit. Now, as you can see, even though I'm up to level 70, which is about a good 13 levels above a majority, or 15 levels above a majority of my Pokemon's levels, these guys are still higher level than I was. Yeah. And I think that if I remember correctly, his team's a bit more balanced in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, but I know for a fact that Pikachu is higher leveled. I think the fight's even harder if you beat him once, go fight the Elite Four, and come back here, because I know he respawns if you do that. I'm not sure if he respawns if you do that in Crystal though, because usually after I beat Red, I just turn the game off and never come back to the file again. I know I won't be, because there's not going to be any extras for this series unless I feel like showing off like the event Pokemon through hacking, which I'm not going to be doing. Anyway, next up he's sending out the Pokemon that for me was the hardest one to take care of, Espeon. Now this is actually the only Pokemon you could not get in Red, Blue, and Yellow that is on his team. That is because his team is actually based off the manga counterpart of him, which is completely unlike his game counterpart. I'm not sure why it's like that, I'm not really sure. To be honest, actually, in Heart Gold and Soul Silver you fight this guy, like I mentioned before, but you also get to fight him in the PWT, I think it's called, in Black and White 2, and I can't wait to get to that, because, to be honest, anytime I fight Red, my blood just starts pumping. Then again, that just happens whenever this specific song plays in general. Now, actually, you might want to pay attention to this team, because while I am playing Crystal first, I will be playing Yellow at some point. And the team is actually going to be fairly similar to this, except it won't have an Espeon, it'll have something along the lines of maybe a Kadabra, maybe a Hypno. I'm still deciding on that part. Sadly, I actually forget who I had out because I'm a bit distracted right now as well, considering, there's a bit of a warning of a hurricane around our house right now again. Well, not a hurricane, more like a very big storm. Anyway, he sends out his Blastoise next, which, for me, it would probably be the hardest Pokemon, but since, for some reason, during, because this is the second time I've had to fight him, the first time I kind of had to reload my save state, because I save state in between these parts. And for some reason, Thunder Punch was doing a lot more damage this run through. I'm not sure why. Maybe my effort values were higher, because I will say that while I don't really go into multiplayer battling, I do know like the basics of it. Like effort values are things that are little stat gains slowly that each Pokemon gets, depending on the amount of Pokemon it KOs, or and the specific Pokemon too. Like just from the first episode of the anime, Pikachu from the anime's speed stats through the roof just because of that alone from what I've read up. Anyway, even though you never really seen him in action as of recent, Abe has learned Mega Horn, which is actually his best move. As you can see, Snorlax, whether it looks like it or not, is very beefy in health and HP, and it took out that much, which surprised me because I didn't think a Bug-type move would do that much damage against him. But Snorlax is actually one of his strongest Pokemon, next to, well, the next guy, who I really should have sent Typhlosion out after, but I didn't. I was tired when I recorded this last night, so I was just like, you know, end it. Oh, Charizard. I wonder how much use you're gonna be getting when I record Yellow. And also, as you can see, by level 70, Matt's HP stat's the highest on the team. It's not as high as a Blissey, which can get up to like 700 HP from what I remember, but I rarely ever use any of those kind of chains. Because while I do still experiment with these games, I usually go for a team like the one I'm using right now. And we just beat Red. The game over. Ellipses, and fade to the final credits. That is the end of Let's Play Pokemon Crystal, everyone. I hope you really have enjoyed this one. I know I have. I still haven't uploaded the first part, though, considering I tend to record these Let's Plays en masse, then record them. But anyway, if you guys leave some feedback in the comments of what you thought of this Let's Play, because I really want to know how you like how if you like how I handled this one. This one was kind of a challenge to record, actually, because I had to think of all the different Pokemon, had to figure out how to edit it all together, make it flow right. But overall, this was actually a really fun project. I enjoyed doing this whenever I found time to record as of recent due to the fact school's been hell. But as a game itself, Pokemon Crystal is actually probably my second favorite Pokemon game. It's definitely my second favorite version of Gen 2. My favorite version of Generation 2 in general is Soul Silver, but in terms of overall Pokemon games, I love this one. It's the best version of the 8-bit Gen 2. It brings back so many childhood memories of playing the original Silver and Gold, because I never had Crystal or Game Boy Color, actually. And just playing this makes me feel like I'm 8 years old. Makes me feel like I'm like 6 years old again, which very few things have been able to do for me in life. I'm sure Pat would probably say the same thing had he joined me at all through this, but he didn't, sadly. But anyway, we're actually coming up here on the end. So for the last time in this project, thank you guys for watching. Rate, comment, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. And I will see you guys next Let's Play, whatever that may be, even though I think I already know what it is. And it's actually technically a sequel to one of my older Let's Plays that I did on this channel early this year, late last. But until then, I will see you guys next time. See you then.